After winning yet another race, Junior went home and suddenly found himself in the wrong place at the wrong time. He may have never been caught hauling liquor, but he was about to get caught with his shovel in hand.
I came in I had won a race in Oxford, Pennsylvania on a Saturday night, and I come in about that morning. It was almost daylight when I got home. And my dad and my brother had a still back over in the woods the other side of the house, and both of them had kind of overslept. And my dad, he asked me to go fire his still up for him, because if you didn't fire it up and get the smoke away before daylight, somebody'd see the smoke. And they said, well, Mr. Johnson's got a still over in the holler. I didn't think anything about doing what my dad said. If it was today, I'd still go do what he asked me to do. When I went into the still, there was nobody but me there. And I was firing the still up, and I'd got the fire going real good. And I'd heard my brother and one of my uncles, I heard them coming up through the woods down there. Well, I said, you know, I'll fire the burner one more time, then I'm going to the house. They can take it from here. When I reached over to shovel some coke up and stick it in the burner, I heard something right behind me. I looked over my shoulder, and there's a guy standing on top of a box just fixing to jump on the back of my back, you know. So instead of throwing the coke in the burner, I just threw it, come back over my shoulder like that, and hit him in the face with it and all that stuff. And he was a well-known revenuer there in Wilkesboro that everybody knew him. His name was John West. And when I hit him with that shovel, he hollered out, you know, catch Junior Johnson. He's hit me in the head with a shovel. Well, they had it surrounded. They had the thing staked out. There's probably 15 officers, you know, all through the woods. I had got away from John down through the woods, and I knew where there was an opening in the gate of the fence down there, and I knowed I was going to have to hit that opening. If I didn't, I was going to run into that fence. And I did miss the opening in the fence, and I hit in that barbed wire fence and got tangled up in it. And John and two other guys caught me.
Junior was off to federal prison in Ohio, where he stayed for 11 months and 3 days.
When I come out of penitentiary, I learned in prison you had to do what was right or you was in trouble all the time. And it was a great lesson for me. I never fooled with whiskey business after that. I went on and got bigger and bigger in the racing when I got out. And I don't say I turned my life around. I just, you know, went in a different direction.
And this plagued Junior Johnson's career to a certain extent in his early days. There were attempts made within the industry to try to keep this completely quiet. They wanted to wipe the bootleg thing out, and particularly as we got toward the beginning of the super speedway era.
In 1947, at Daytona Beach, Florida, the National Association for Stock Car Auto Racing was organized. This new association, called NASCAR, was organized by race promoters seeking to promote the sport of racing and clean up its questionable image.
A lot was done to try to keep Junior from getting to the top of his profession of racing because he did have a record, and a lot of people were trying to improve the image of racing, which in those days wasn't very good.
But Junior couldn't be stopped. His constant innovation led him to the discovery of drafting.
Junior Johnson pours it on in first place.
Despite the fact he was driving a much slower car, he used this drafting technique in 1960 to win the Daytona 500.